Hey everyone, it's Zach, and today we're talking about custom turrets on survival ships. Now, in the background we've got video of the Guarantee facing off against a Factorum warship, with the one on the top possessing standard large grid Gatling guns at all the places the Guarantee typically has custom turrets, while the vessel on the bottom uses a 6 Gatling gun turret configuration found on all warships within the Skybound fleet. Custom turret controllers were released 3 years ago in the Warfare 2 update, and as you know, they're neat. But when building large grids in survival, they have some shortcomings compared to the stock turrets available in-game. Custom turret controllers are great for 1 or 2 turrets, but programming 5, 10, or more doesn't scale well. They've got to be individually mapped. Repairing and replacing many small blocks is more of a pain than repairing one large turret, and most custom turrets do have many small blocks. Subgrids can't be printed on the main grid, and if you're building a custom turret, it's going to be on a subgrid. And while you can print turrets for installation, installation is its own problem. So if there's such a hassle, then why use them? Well, 1, they're neat, and 2, damage. If you've been paying attention to the clips here, you'll notice that the vessel on the bottom hasn't moved at all, hasn't rotated, hasn't used any thrust. The vessel on the top has had some of its turrets destroyed and has had to rotate to accommodate in order to keep damage flowing outward toward the Factorum warship. Despite this, only one of these vessels winds up winning the engagement. It occurs right here, as the Guarantee on the bottom finally destroys all of the weapons on the Factorum warship, and I go up to go check it. The vessel on the top winds up losing everything, and it becomes easy pickings for the Factorum warship to win its own engagement. The Guarantee is one of my primary warships in survival playthroughs. It's taken a lot of damage, and the turrets have needed repair or replacement fairly often. It is always a pain, but this is how I make it less fun. This is the custom turret design found on the Guarantee and other Skybound warships. It features 6 Gatling guns and a camera wrapped with a light armor shell, and on top we've installed a projector for a demonstration. One of those common complaints is that turrets are frustrating to repair. Ordinarily we solve that problem with a repair projector, but unless you want to save a blueprint of a blueprint that contains itself, you'll need to orient the projection of every turret that you'll install. Or will you? Note the orientation that this projector is being installed in. Fine if you miss it, you'll see it again later. We're going to give this design its own blueprint, replacing the old one. Once we've loaded it onto the projector, you'll quickly see the problem. Fixing this over and over again is no one's idea of fun, so let's solve that. Let's take a new projector and place it in such an orientation. You won't see this one again, so cross up top, line to the rear. We copy the turret at the projector mounting point and paste the turret around the projector. According to the game, this projector is now the oldest block on the grid. For whatever reason, the oldest block is the block that the projector recognizes as 0. So let's blueprint this new grid and load it up. First, we should enable Keep Projection. To do this, I can't use this grid, as it'll delete the blueprint immediately. I must load another small grid in order to check this box. Now we put in the grid that we want to be projected, and here it is, perfectly aligned at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. If we make an adjustment, you can see that we indeed pulled the projection off the grid. Now that we have a repair projector, if we take damage, I can repair this subgrid without placing blocks. One of the nice things about repair projectors is that, using the control panel or remote vision, we can see that the block's metadata, name and groups, are preserved. This is great because now the custom turret controller will remember this block as it was initially configured. To that end, we have this turret production system. It's mostly just a small grid and a large grid, and the intention behind it is to produce a slew of turrets off as few blueprints as possible. The large grid contains labeled hinges, and the small grid contains labeled turrets. Each set uses names unique to the location on the ship at which they will later be installed. To create this more simply, I created a prototype of the turret that I wanted to use, and used Whiplash 141's block renaming script to quickly give the grid its appropriate labels, copy the turret, and paste it down the line. When it comes time to use this in survival, I take a blueprint of the large grid, weld it, and then on top of the piston create a subgrid using a hinge, and I lay a projector for the smaller grid containing the turrets. Now let's retract these pistons and attach the turrets to their hinges using the hinge group's attach function. So to that end, let's see. So upper left turret, rotor, azimuth. This will be lower left. Okay, so orientation is like this. So let's find, I think, what was it? Top forward. Top forward is going to be up there, and I think that was the first one we had. Top forward. So the last thing that needs to happen, and you'll do this in survival here, is taking an advanced rotor head, slapping it on every one of these. Okay, so now we go over to the guarantee, and instead of trying to like place something and then even using build vision, it's a pain in the butt. Instead of going over here and like trying to attach everything manually, we are just going to place a timer block somewhere in the ship, put it right there, and let's call this rotor attach, and set it to a 2-second delay. Put in rotor and PDC rotor, and we're going to have it attach and then call itself. Have it start again with a 2-second delay, and we're going to hit trigger now. And now, every 2 seconds, this ship is getting a command for all of the rotors in that group to attach if they can. So we're going to come this way,
critical.
Grab our tug, find top. Top is green. Now, if I actually just come in and descend right on top of this, it's gonna work. It'll survive, but you're gonna see it's gonna be real janky. So I actually try and release a few meters beforehand. Yep. So potential for damage there. The way you get around that is just not doing what I did there. Looks like I damaged the. It just ripped it right off of me here. So let's actually try that again. We've talked about making repairs easier, and we talked about making production easier, and we've talked about making the physical installation of the turrets not all that awful. Earlier in the video, when we were going over the small grid / large grid printable system, I mentioned that the turrets and hinges were all appropriately labeled. For one, this is nice to do for yourself as you use your ship. Browsing a bunch of default names hoping for the best isn't fair to yourself. Label your parts. But in this instance, it's invaluable, because Whiplash 141's TCES script is about to help us with our fourth complaint, scalability of the custom turret controller. If you've labeled things according to how you want your turret set up, this is a breeze. You group all your stuff with the label TCES, including your turret controller, load up the script, and you're done. You do need to specify which mechanical blocks, the rotor or hinge, are your azimuth and elevation, but Whip's block renamer script will let you group the relevant blocks and add elevation or azimuth to the names of those blocks. So here's what using TCES looks like in our setup currently. So top forward, right, we'll type that in. We'll click on the group here, and then we will link the hinge. And it looks like I actually already linked the rotor there. That's very nice. Save the group. Top right. Gonna do the same thing here. Top left. Now this is not necessary if you've linked everything ahead of time, which apparently I linked some of them. let's scroll over to how do I have this set up? Top forward, top left, top right. I think it was saying that the upper right was saying that, and one last thing, all of our hinges are locked. So let's unlock those. Cool. Well, you've already seen the aftermath of the installation, so instead, here's a pelagic being assaulted by 3 SPRT vultures. Next on the docket is either a ground-based mobile hydrogen refining platform and the logistics involved in production and transport, or a 200-meter-long cruiser fitted with more than 4 times the number of railguns as the guarantee. If that floats your boat, let me know what you'd like to see first in the comments. And if you'd like to support these productions, do me the favor of a like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.
Energy low.